Looks like it's been broken off.
Oh
I just
my God.
subscribe for more funny videos, dude.
Oh my
Dog.
Guys, this is the Talk Your Walk podcast. I'm your host, Austin Lefty. With me, as always,
That's literally.
And I'm George.
I'm Noah Wilburn.
And I'm George.
and today we're joined by our special guest. Is it Elio or Elio?
Elio.
Okay,
Elio.
Elio. So I've sometimes said it the one way, then I've said it another way.
Pardon his manners.
Yeah, pardon our manners. We're sorry. No, we're really happy to have you, man. Thank you for coming on. Really, I think would you classify yourself more as a DJ or as an entertainer?
Entertainer.
Yeah, it
Entertainer.
kind of says it on his like name tag.
No. I know, but sometimes you can ask somebody. It's like, somebody might see our YouTube page and they might think, oh, we're YouTubers, but in fact we're actually podcasters. So it's like
I don't envision that going
No,
well.
I don't
sitting
want
there,
coffee to.
So
I
we
don't
just
want
want to
coffee
do
to
that.
spill on the machine.
By the way, can you do me a favor? You're actually like leaning too far back out of the shot. Can you lean forward for me?
Yes.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Is this like the first recorded thing that you've done?
No. I have done a lot of radio, TV.
He's like, I'm kind of famous, guys.
Yeah, he's like, I'm kind of a big deal. So.
No.
Yeah, don't be modest.
Wow, big deal and humble. Okay.
Yeah. But I think what's so funny about you though is that you're here in Gainesville, Florida. So with what you do, I could be wrong on this, but I don't think that you have much competition as far as what you do for a business here in Gainesville.
Well, actually, I think I do have competition. I will say yes and no. Yes, because there is a lot of DJs, but no, because I think I don't think all of them that actually cares about the branding as I do. I care about branding, about marketing, about being out there, being visible and to everybody. I mean, to be able to sell a product, I mean, you need to make sure that your customers know that product exists. If not, you can be selling the best shampoo in the world. If you gotta make sure that shampoo is out there, so your customers can buy it. So that's my concept.
Wait, why shampoo though? Why are we using shampoo?
So with the rest of the people that really are DJs and are entertainers here in Gainesville, out of all of them, I think you're probably the most family-friendly one as far as the events that you do and working with places for after-school care and places that host children events and everything like that.
I've seen you at BTW.
Yes.
I remember. Yeah, because that was like the first time I ever. It was a while ago, but that was like the first time I ever saw you like in action. I should say. And
because
it
is
like,
an action. You get animated.
Yeah,
you get animated.
Bro, I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I want to be a part of it. Like, I just came for a burger, and now
you're dancing, having a good time.
It's amazing.
No, I appreciate that. I mean, the reason I do it is because I think I always wanted to have events and I mean in general like social, private, that they are family related, like family friendly, like kids friendly, all of that. Because I am very selective with my venues. All right, I don't like these type of clubs that they are playing all bad stuff that. I mean, like, you will be scared to get in,
right?
Or just, I like the environment, family environment.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it.
Almost like classy, sort of. Yeah, like
yes.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Because I've seen both worlds, so it's like I completely get the difference.
And actually answering your question, going back to the entertainer, is because a DJ, just a normal DJ, is just behind the board doing his thing. I don't say being a DJ is less or more. I am not saying that. I'm just saying it's just different.
Right.
I don't think I am special. I'm just different. I dance, I sing, I can play my instrument because I am a classical trained musician.
Right.
So I can do so many stuff, and plus at the same time. Plus, being in charge of my own production, fog machine, effects, lighting, at the same time. So that's what an entertainer does. You embrace the audience, okay, and make it feel like family. That this is your party. This is the place to be. And what I call the fiesta. In Spanish, So.
That's awesome. How many instruments do you know how to play then?
Well, I play every percussion instrument, plus
okay.
drum set and piano.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you create your own music?
I do.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do. But sometimes I play, like covers as well because you have to. Because that's what people relate to.
Yeah.
You play music. oh my gosh. You
The,
know how it
entire,
is.
the entire playlist is just your music. People are like, I'm bumping to this, but I have no idea what I'm listening
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
Exactly. So, but sometimes I just play, some beats that I know they are gonna work, and I create beats with my percussion instrument, all over the place, and I improvise, and people, they like it, they get into it,
Yeah.
and you just create that vibe, that energy that people will say, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite things that I've seen is when you got the music going and everybody's like dancing, blah, 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 and you get everybody like in the cha-cha line or whatever. Everybody's just like, nobody knows each other or anything, but everybody's like holding on to each other and just going in this line, just like all around. I'm like, how, why? But it's great. You know what I mean? I mean, it definitely takes a special skill to like unlock that in somebody, unlock that like family friendliness. You know what I mean?
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, it does.
You definitely are an entertainer, and I think the reason that I wanted to open this up with that question is because before we I think to see where you've come from and how you got here, I think we need to fully understand what you do. So now that we know that you're an entertainer, not a DJ, I mean, you said that you're classically trained to play these instruments. How did that come from? Where did it go? Where did the idea of you becoming an entertainer
Where did you come from? Where did you go?
You starting your own business. Me trying to stay on topic. It's
Yes.
like I just gotta block him.
Yes.
I just gotta block.
I like
him.
this show a lot, man. Well, I mean, I come from a very humble family from Cuba. I'm Cuban. So when I was 9, I started my music career with 9 years old, at the elementary school of music in Pinal del Rio. That was the state in Cuba that I was starting off. And then I graduated from the elementary school with 15, all right? And after that, I started the National Conservatory with 16 years old, and I graduated with 18. So basically, it was like a career of 9 years, studying music, classical music, history, music theory. Well, I mean, I don't know how many credits. I mean, like 12, something like that.
And you just always had an affinity for wanting to be a musician, or?
Yes. I mean, to be honest, I didn't know it. I mean, I was supposed to be like a soccer player in my country. I was about to go to this
Cuba. Hey.
Yeah. So, I mean, and when I was about to go to the soccer school, the national sports school, this music test, they started, going all over my town. And then, I was 7 back in the days. And then this teacher, the music teacher, said, hey, to my mom, why you don't take your kid to the... And my mom said, well, I mean, I guess I'll take Ellie. All right, let's take him. So when I got there, actually, I didn't have any preparation. I mean, sometimes you get like a preparation for some test because you really want to do it.
Right.
I didn't know. My mom just said, hey, let's go to this place. And it was this big line of kids waiting to show off, to showcase their talents. Well, I didn't know. They just say, okay, sing this note. Can you say playing the piano like intervals like pang, tang. I was like lo, lo, lang, lang, tan, tan, doing polyrhythm with my... Well, they were like, who the heck is this kid? Because they just say to my mom, you gotta pay attention to your son. They said that I was gifted.
He has a
like
talent.
that.
Yeah,
he has a talent. He has a talent because he has like a natural thing that the rhythm that he has. We've been doing a lot of complex polyrhythms and the independent that he has, how he can sing exactly the note. And I mean, and then the funny thing was that after that test, the school they kept calling to my house. My mom, they kept in touch. Hey, how is the kid? Hey, are you bringing the kid? This and that. So
they really cared about your development and where you were going.
Yes. So that's how I got into it. Because they kind of like discovered my talent, and then they kept in touch with my mom and with my family about it.
So I think most of the people that I've talked to that are from Cuba, I'm Puerto Rican, so it's, even though they're right, it's right there, it's still very, very different.
Yeah.
So a lot of the people that I've talked to that are from Cuba, they say that the one thing that's always stuck with them is how competitive things are. Was it the same way with music? Were you having to compete at a young age with other kids to make yourself stand out, or to have to be creative and do your own thing, or?
Oh yes, yes. In Cuba, the competition is huge because I mean the talent in Cuba is like we said. This is what we said in Cuba is like you kick a stone and 15 musicians show up. You know, like just like there are talents all over the place.
Yeah.
But the thing with me is like I don't know how, but since I was a kid, I had this vision of I was like a discipline concept of life that I didn't have that. I would say childhood or me playing the ground or whatever.
Right.
Since at that age, I started like I was very independent already.
Train.
With 10 years old, I will wake up at 6 a.m., do 12 credits, during from 8:30 until 12:30, another 12 credits afternoon until 8 p.m. All right, and then go shower, practice another 1 hour, and then go to bed around 9:30 to 10 p.m. Wake up at 6 a.m. From Monday to Friday, intern at school, and then go home Friday afternoon around 5 p.m. 2 hours far away from home. And then, like, let's say from Gainesville to Orlando. I was in Orlando, all right? Intern the entire week. And then on Sunday, you go back to school. Basically, I spent only a day and a half. Saturday and a piece of Friday, piece of a morning of Sunday.
And that was just life to you. That was
my life. And that was my childhood, and my discipline. That's how big, And I think that actually...
Started young.
Yeah, that's how... it's easier for me to say, okay, this is what I want to do, and you know what that vision requires, and I'm gonna make it happen.
Yeah. And did you start your family in Cuba, or did you do that when you came here to Gainesville?
You mean like with my wife?
Yes, sir.
Oh yes. Well, this is a long story, but I'll make it shorter.
Okay. No, take your time. Take your time.
So my wife and I, we met at a school of music actually when we were 9 years old. We met because she was at my school, my classroom, and then she was actually a clarinet player. She was really good. I was really into jazz, into very complex music styles. She was like a classical player. She didn't play anything else, but classical music was her thing. And, when we started dating, we were sweethearts at 11 years old. And then from 13 years old to 14, she came to the United States because her dad already was here. Actually, her dad was in Puerto Rico first. And then he came to South Florida, to the United States in South Florida. And then he brought her here. And after 6 years, we meet again. In Cuba, she went to visit me. We met again, and that love,
it is meant to be.
Yeah,
yeah.
That fire. And start up again.
Yeah,
don't cry.
Don't cry. No, you don't hear about that often, especially people that are that young and then they carry that over. And you have something so beautiful now. You have your own business. You seem happy. You seem successful with everything that you do.
I see your truck driving around Gainesville, and every time I'm like,
there's nobody that doesn't, like, I feel like even if they don't know you, they see the car and they're like, oh, that's Elio. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they get that they get that brand recognition.
Yeah.
And that's what you've been perfecting over the years. I can tell.
Well, yeah. And I have as it may appear a solo act, but it's teamwork. I have a great team, a great support system that I have to thank for that, including my mentor consulting, my family, and and the marketing team that we have. That is, for me, it's the best. Just awesome, and all the friends in the community, man. The community just wonderful. That is exactly what I love about Gainesville.
Wow. The nice thing about being a family friendly entertainer is that the connections that you make in that business are so much more meaningful and tangible, aren't they? Like, they're so much stronger. Like, you perform for a certain group or whatever, and you perform and you get to know them and you meet them, and they probably most likely will become lifelong customers and friends.
Yes.
Like, have you seen that a lot? Like, do you make those bonds a lot, do you say?
Yes. Every time I perform on all these family friendly events, I always there is potential customers all over the place. All right. I was talking about that with another guy because we're about to launch a charge extension for phones. I'm the only one that is gonna have that in North Florida and all in Gainesville. A charge extension with my logo where I am going to be able to showcase another corporation. So stay tuned. I already have my first client, and we're about to sign a contract for 6 months where I am going to showcase this corporation. It is like a dental lab that I don't want to mention because it's in the process, but we are already in the process of the contract. So this charge extension basically is gonna be make everybody's life so much easier. Why? Because everybody's phone is dying.
Yeah.
You know, you can see people dancing and, oh my gosh, you have a cable? Oh my God, you know, and then you get, and then actually was my mentor, Freddie Weavy's idea. He's a genius. I call him the maestro. He said, Elio, you know what? We should get a charge extension with your own brand, not with a brand, like with your own brand, and we should be able to showcase more business, and you know, and it's gonna be awesome. I think people are gonna love that. And we're doing another project, but eventually we'll talk more about it.
Don't spill all of it.
Don't give away
Exactly.
don't give away all the secrets. Like we said, you
I
have competition.
I feel that though, because like I like how you recognize the problem, and then like you came with a solution.
What is that saying? There's a specific saying where it's like sell them, or like make the poison and then sell them the antidote. That's an evil way of saying it, but I mean that.
No, it's oh
Don't
my
dig
gosh.
for gold.
You know what I'm
No,
talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Don't convince someone that they need to buy something. Sell someone that fixes their problem or something like
Well,
that.
I'll tell you something. I oftentimes during my daily routines, I listen to audios and stuff. And Miles Monroe, it's been said by Miles Monroe that don't seek success, seek for problems, because when you seek for problems, you push yourself to find a solution, and that's where the business is. When someone can say you are the solution to my problem, you are the one, you are the reason that we can move on with this. So and because of that, we want to do business with you. So that's basically it. And actually, this is just another detail that we add to my show, or just to be honest, to make everybody's life easier, including mine. And sometimes even my phone is dying, and I need to make a live video, this and that, to say, hey, we are here, this venue, we are rocking the house, or you must be here. So I think that'll be awesome. That'll be fun, and people will say, oh, okay, this is something else.
Yeah, and I think you're in a unique position too, and I feel like you guys would probably know this best yourselves, but I feel like I bring this up with anybody that we have here that's a business owner. But you're in a unique position because you're here in Gainesville. With what you do, I feel like when you live in Miami, when you live in Orlando, Tampa, Jacksonville, any place like that, you get swallowed up in an instant. People aren't going to see your individuality. People aren't going to see the speciality that you bring. But when you do it someplace like Gainesville, which is small enough to where you can facilitate that and really build it up, I feel like you've built your business up so much that eventually you're going to get to the point where you can expand outside of Gainesville. Do you have any hopes of that, or?
Well, actually, I already had the opportunity, I still have the opportunity to be outside of Gainesville. And actually, next week, talking about that, this coming week, I'm going to be in Miami. I have a private event, and right after that, the next day I have a private wedding at Miami Banquet Hall. In September, I'm gonna be at Jacksonville Beach doing another wedding. So this is the thing. I've been actually, in 20 different states in this country.
Wow.
20, yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
In different, and each state I've been in different cities. And I'll tell you something. After that, and moving on, in my life, in my career, and my goals, I really love Gainesville because you have that community feeling that you cannot find everywhere. I'm telling you. I don't know how many cities I can mention names that I don't even know how to pronounce it. But man, the community that we have here, the community feeling, sense, the vibes, the energy, I don't know. It's so special. I don't know how to describe it. Mm-hmm. It's so special, and it's been the response to my business. It's been tremendously like kind. they've been embracing, the concept of
Yeah.
what I wanted to bring. So
That's amazing. So you've been those places, you've had those experiences, and you still choose Gainesville. You
Yeah.
still choose this place, and that's
I want to talk about. I want to ask.
what?
It's
What?
it's really funny. It's really funny just knowing you. If you had the opportunity to be anywhere but here, you would take it. So, I'm sorry. There's nothing against you. It is awesome that you love Gainesville, and honestly, I love Gainesville too.
yeah.
So it is awesome that you love Gainesville, and I'm so glad that you're here. But him probably hearing you say that, he's probably just like, "Are you kidding me?"
No, I love Gainesville. I've learned to call it home, but it's also at the same time there's like that burning passion. I mean, you've seen it for yourself. There's an entire world out there. There's an entire country out there
Yeah.
that you get to explore and be a part of. And I think what's really special is that anybody can have that bone in their body to explore and to want to grow and expand and be different places. But it takes a unique individual to put themselves in the position where they're happy, being where they're at, and growing where they're growing. You know what I mean? Where you don't get so obsessed with, why am I only in Gainesville? Why am I only doing places in Gainesville? For the fact that you're focusing not only on staying here, but growing your business here, I think that's what sets you apart from everybody else. It's focusing on I feel like if there's a good analogy for it, everybody else is focusing on what's over the mountain. You're still focusing on how to climb up that mountain.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I was gonna ask. I wanted to talk about your branding a little more. Just like how you branded yourself. So, if start from the beginning.
Businessman Noah.
Yeah. I was just really curious because, as you were saying, you focus a lot on marketing yourself. So it's compared to a lot of other DJs, because I know a lot of DJs in Gainesville. I know a lot of people in general. But I want to know. I want to pick your brain a little bit. How did you start? Where was the idea? Where did this idea of just you come from?
Okay, so basically, actually, when I got here in Gainesville, my first job, it wasn't music, and for me, it was kind of like a big shock. I was in shock because I was well, first of all, in Cuba, we don't have we don't have this system that actually you gotta pay rent, you gotta pay the bills, you gotta be on top of the game. I still have my discipline, all right, but and my skills and all of that. But I was like, well, what can I do, all right? So I just got here. My first job was as this washer, okay, at this restaurant in Tioga. Sabore is now closed, but
Sabore,
yeah. I used to. I mean, I loved.
closed?
Yeah, it's closed now.
Yeah, it's been
That
closed.
closed 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Are you been living in Gainesville?
Well, I live in that room.
I was about to say.
He's we keep him in the room with the door locked, and he's just editing videos all the time.
Oh my gosh, you gotta let hang out sometime. So yeah, I started over there, and I'm so grateful, man, with all the stuff from Sabore because it was my first family. I mean, here, they support me. I was allowed to learn some English because I came in, man, my English was yes and no. That's it. I learned how to speak English in this city. So basically, that's how important it is. So that was my first job. And then I had the opportunity to start off a acoustic trio and quartet. But I thought this is not enough. I want something. I want more. I always had that thing to be singing, to have my own show, right? So I also had the opportunity to be performing and share stage with Tropics. It's like a Latin band here from Puerto Rico. They are Puerto Ricans. They are very, very good friend of mine. They helped me a lot, and also had the opportunity to play with another DJs. That they call me. And I used to go with my timbales, with my percussion instrument, to play with them. And then after all that, I realized, wait a minute, I can do all of this by myself. And at the same time, I realized that I can be dancing while playing and singing, and it was very hard because it requires a lot of investment, a lot of gear, and knowing me, I always wanted to be on top of the whatever was the best out there in the market. Yeah. But I start off with, I start with some Mackie amps that they are not bad, but they were very old, I didn't have so many lights. And I always been hungry to do the extra mile, to do something else, right? Yeah. So that's how I started, to be honest. And, and again, my support, man, I would say Hunger. I always mention that. I'll tell you this. People oftentimes they ask me like they refer to me like, oh, but you are crazy, you have 3-4 events in a day, you have this, but now you gotta go from this place to this place. And I say, I don't see it like I need more, but I want more. There's a difference, and the hunger, is related to it. That, when you are hungry, you are willing to do whatever is required, okay, to get to the next level.
There's a difference between greed and the hunger that people like you, people like us feel about when we're doing something that we want to do for us.
I think what the difference is, that was.
I was gonna say that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, no. I was gonna expound on that. I was gonna say the difference. I think the difference between that is like why you do what you do. So I mean, I imagine you do what you do because you want to. I mean, not only serve the people of Gainesville, but you want to like entertain them. You want to promote like that family friendly happiness environment. Am I wrong?
And to leave something behind for your children. To leave something as a representation.
And that's what I'm saying. It's been said. All right, this has been said for many great speakers that the people that are hungry are willing to do the things others won't do today, to have tomorrow the things others won't have, and not only financially, but the legacy, the impact that you can make in your community, the contribution, the giving. All right, what are you bringing? And actually related to business, think about this: when you are telling your story now people are watching this wonderful podcast that we may laugh here, but we're talking some serious stuff. So think about it. When you're talking about business, the 3 questions that are going through their mind: who you are, what do you have, and why should I care? What do you have to offer that make you stand among other competitors? You know what I mean? And actually, that question, I remember I was in the Performing Arts Center in the University in Iowa. And I was next to the producer that I was on tour with. And I said, I have this wonderful project, this vision in mind. And the first question he asked me was the third that I mentioned. What people should care about that? What is special about it? And now I have an answer because I've been developing that brand, and then you see the results. So,
yeah.
That is really great.
That's
actually
inspirational. Like,
thank you.
I don't mean to brag, but thank you.
Like, why should people care? Well, it's because
I want you to care.
You're this amazing member of a community that people love. That's why people should care.
Yeah. And I think
I feel like it goes deeper than that.
Well,
I mean, it depends.
I feel like it goes
deeper. I was about to say.
Yeah.
What I will say is, as far as what you do, and like you said, we're here to talk about your career and talk about what you've accomplished. But as far as that goes and what you have accomplished, what are your aspirations for where you want to go from here? Because we talked about that. We talked about you growing your business.
Talked about the past. Talked about the present. Now, where do you see yourself in the future?
What's the future look like for Elio?
Well,
without giving too much away.
Exactly. I don't want to give too much because I have some big dreams. And I accomplished, to be honest, I mean, I expect this stage of my life to arrive in another 2 years, but it's here now. So
you're ahead of schedule.
You know what? I have a better question. What do you want to leave behind? Is what I should say. Instead of talking about the future, what do you want to leave behind?
He's not dying anytime soon.
No, I'm just saying. Right. But what do you want to leave behind?
So that's a very nice question because I always think like when we check out because we're like, gonna go. All right, what are 3 things that you wanna people say about you? And one big thing it is my legacy about the contribution that I made to humankind. Because remember, one of my biggest dreams, and this is related to the same question that you're doing, it is that I am not only doing this for Gainesville. Again, I am doing this. Eventually, it's going to become nationally known, and eventually it's going to be internationally, and eventually, who knows what's going to happen. So I don't limit myself, and I always see myself doing stuff beyond, and I love to challenge myself to new goals, to new stuff. But how you say, I don't wanna mention specific stuff because that's kind of very personal, I will say.
Yeah.
But I want to leave behind a legacy that when people say that mention my name, people can remember me in a good way, in a special way,
Yeah.
based on that legacy.
While we're finishing that up, I actually thought about one more question that I had for you. Going back to how you grew up and what got you here. I'm sure you were talking about the way that you were raised, how you accomplished what you accomplished, how you got into music. And it's, from the sounds of it, it sounds like there were difficulties that you had to overcome. There were challenges in your life that might have been life-changing problems to other people, but to you, that was just life. Waking up that early, getting things done, getting those credit hours in.
I mean, 6 o'clock ain't nothing, man.
But no, like actually really putting in the time, and especially not here in the United States, to the people that are our age, to the people that are our age trying to do what you're doing by building their own brand or their business. Thank you. Those challenges are important because that's what defines those people. And I think that if it weren't for the fact that you grew up the way that you did and had those challenges, I don't think you'd be where you are today, because you learned that through hard work. You learn that through facing adversity.
Yes, and actually, that's a very good way to see it because, for example, in Cuba, we didn't have, in Cuba, you don't have a computer just like that.
Right.
All right. You just don't go Google, Amazon.com, and you have it here next thing. No, it's not that kind of party. In Cuba, you don't have instrument. In Cuba, you don't have so much like equipment and gear and instrument and so much stuff that your show require to actually have what you really want to see. So being here, I think, after all the struggles that I had and everything and the obstacles that I had to face in life, being in this country that, I think it's one of the, if it's not the best, because there is no country that's perfect, for me it's the best one. Because it gave me so much opportunity, so much, the horizon is so wide, you know, that actually I've been able to spend myself and to grow in many different ways. So I'm grateful to be here, actually, by the way. And then when you come from Cuba, right, when you're coming from my country to this country, trust me, you value stuff.
Yeah.
You learn the hard way, but you learn how to value stuff, every single thing. And that's a very important detail there.
Value what you have, people.
Speaking of value, those look really expensive. Are they really? They look really nice.
Yes. These maracas are not from Cuba. They are from Colombia.
Okay.
Because a friend of mine gave it to me. And since this is the real skin of the cow.
Oh, wow.
Yes, you can touch it. You see, you can feel it. And so they sound,
That's the real deal right there.
Yes. So, saludo, my people from Colombia.
Well, thank you for coming on, man. Thank you for sharing your story. I know that's something that I think a lot of people that are in our position right now need to hear, is that even facing what you faced, you still accomplish great things, and look at the place that you are in life right now. And I think a lot of people, not just now, but I think 10 years from now, people are going to look at your story, and I think you'll be a great representation for people to accomplish anything that they can, no matter their circumstances. And I think stories like those and people like those, let's face it, they're a dime a dozen. You see them in the news all day. Somebody comes from a circumstances of coming from a tough upbringing and they've accomplished everything. But I feel like the people that you remember are the people that said what you said, where it's about what you're leaving behind. It's about what you're accomplishing. It's about when you look at your name, who are you? What did you stand for? Community.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing.
All about your legacy, man. Because it's like, you can make all the money in the world and affect all the whatever. I don't even know. Like, everybody can know your name, but at the end of the day, man, it's like you can't bring any of that in your coffin.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? The material stuff.
I always say that if money is the only thing that actually moves you or turns you on, you'll be broke. Inside. Even if you have all the money in the world, that's related to what you're saying. So money cannot be all that move you. It needs to be causes. It needs to be like a reason. For example, it's been said also that when you have this tough time, because remember, life is gonna stand in front of you and say, "Hey, here I am." So when life steps in,
That was like really seductive. I
You know
don't
what I
know
mean?
how I feel about that.
Hey,
It's like,
You know what I mean?
Life is
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
stand
yeah.
in front of you.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's gonna get in your way.
life is gonna happen. Like
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
is gonna happen. For example, right now, my wife's family that I consider my family, they are having, we like a very special member of the family, passed, and we now we gotta go out of town, and actually, not only that, I recently a good friend of mine, excuse me, passed away here, and I would like to make a tribute mentioning his name, Raul Villarreal. I mean, it is tough talking about Raul Villarreal because he was a very special friend at 55 years old, a guy who makes so much for this community, make a huge impact. Only 4 or 5 years here, being the coordinator for the Spring Art Festival, the foundation of Santa Fe College. Pass, man, and I was in shock. I am still processing that, and the hardest part is that people are still. Even if I have that in my heart, people still waiting for the artist, for the entertainer, for that guy to show off and do what you do. Because at the end of the day, think about this. People are not, they don't follow me because I am not special. They follow what I am bringing to the table. So if you are not bringing it, they went there. Yes, they went there just for nothing. Because they don't go there to see my face. They go to enjoy what I am bringing. So
They come to enjoy the
the
experience.
experience. So basically, because that's the thing, people sometimes they don't understand this, and that's the hardest part. For me, for example, especially these days, I am now kind of like in the a better place during the process. But when I heard about the passing of my friend, I mean, I was like. Like I will be like crying in my car and then going out and bringing the fiesta. So it's kind of tough, but it's, as I am mentioning, that you got to bring you got to be the Elio that people are expecting from you, because that's the way they came. And it just, again, man, it's just life, and it needs to be, more reasons. Your family, your kids, your community, your passion. There is something else besides money. At the end of the day, if you do what you gotta do, you do what is hard. It's been said that you do what is easy, your life will be hard. If you do what is hard, your life will be easy. So do what is hard and focus on what is hard.
Bro,
That is amazing.
I have
thing.
my respect for you has just like shot up.
Thank you for opening up to us, man. We
Yeah,
never would have known that unless
really.
you came on and told us your story. So thank you.
Yes.
Got me like, yeah.
not to switch over from such a good story to then advertisement, but is there anything that you want to plug here on the podcast? Anything you got going on? Or?
Oh yes. Actually.
Like I said, it's such a weird transition to like
Like a light switch, it just flips. Oh yes.
Yes, actually, right now it is going on the best of the best contest by the Gainesville Sun, and I am in the contest. You can vote for me as a best live performer in Gator Nation. You can vote daily from now until August 28th, and just let me bring the fiesta to you. I mean, there is many ways that you can hire me or you can reach out to me. I have my official fan club page on Facebook, Elio Piedra fan club page, and then Elio Piedra bringing the fiesta to you is my official entertainer page, and eliopiedra.com, my website. You just click and hire me for corporates, private event, holiday party, whatever, for weddings on wedding stuff.
Let him bring the fiesta to you.
Yes.
Out of all of Elio's information, if you're watching this on YouTube, will be in the description down below, as well as that link to go vote for him. Even if you don't live here in Gainesville, no one will know. Go vote for him. And so thank you guys. Thank you for watching the episode. We're out.
That's awesome.
Ole.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Seriously.